winners for the Gridiron Survivor Hackathon. But before we do that, I wanted to do just a retrospective on the entire process. At the beginning, I think we started this about 3 or 4 months ago. The idea was to introduce AI into everybody's workflows, also use AI and kind of figure out what the power of AI is in the tech industry. We have designers and developers as well, but just being able to navigate that, work together as two teams, and then at the end, these individuals were able to build a agentic travel app. If you want to watch the presentations for those are on my LinkedIn and YouTube as well. You can definitely watch those and can just kind of watch and learn from these individuals and how uh, they articulated the project and how they integrated with Zephyr Cloud, as well as utilization of AI. But I always want to learn from these things as well, because each one of us will learn differently. So this retrospective will hopefully shed some light on things that we've learned, things that could improve on, and then items that we want to continue to carry forward in our careers as well. So without further ado, I wanted to open up the floor to the team. We have both teams here, represented by both teams. There are definitely more members, but not everybody can make these meetings, and it is what it is. I wish everybody could because there's so much learnings that we got from this hackathon. But I want to open the floor first. Let's start with positives, right? What are some things that went well? And anybody can talk. This is open floor plan.
Us at the very beginning was really helpful. At first, I was definitely a little intimidated, just because I wasn't used to trying to incorporate them into my workflow or project. But taking that first step really helped at the end.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that real quick. Like, many of you had never touched AI before. Many of you have heard of it, but you know, had never even like installed Cloud Code or Cursor or Copilot, and never even like prompted ChatGPT. Like, how was that, especially from your point of view, Paris? Like, as a designer, like, was that intimidating, or was it like, oh my gosh, I want to jump in right away and I could figure out what I could do with this?
I think in design, I came from a background of like having played around with vibe coding tools, but I didn't really, I think I still don't fully understand exactly what the term MCP even means, but but like the way that you use especially like Pokemon MCP, and like the possibilities of connecting different models to different tools, that was like opening the door for just like so many other so much more potential, I guess. And I think that was, yeah, it was really stressful, and I kind of didn't want to do it at first. Like you were like, yeah, try this out, and I was like, yeah, I will, and in my head I was like, I don't know. But now I think just realizing how much time we had left and realizing how much we wanted this product to succeed, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try it out, I guess. And then definitely seemed scary at first, but it's super simple. Like, once you get into it, it's not that complicated. You don't need to be an engineer to try those tools.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess that would go for the rest of you guys too. How was it like to be going and experimenting with AI for the first time, or even if it's not the first time, but like digging deeper into it and understanding the models and going into like MCPs and then also like vibe coding more than not.
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Paris said. I was also pretty intimidated at first on my side as a developer, and you know, I'd used AI before, but I'd never. That was my first time jumping out of like the web like chat box kind of thing. So I think once I I started to like identify kind of like pain points in the developer workflow, like enabling like the MCP servers and like learning how they worked and trying to find like um, just like I really like that it was really encouraged for us to just jump in and do something because I definitely had a lot of resistance at first to like not try to step on anybody's toes or like mess up with somebody like mess up somebody else's flow. But yeah, once I got into it, it was really fun and like embracing kind of like the chaos that comes with vibe coding and just yeah, just going in and like iterating on that. Yeah, super fun once I started.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Okay. Um, yeah, just following what Caroline said, it was fun just experimenting, and I found and I think through a couple of presentations, it's really good at like research and like reading documentation and helping you to just understand like a new technology, like micro front ends, just helping to understand how that works, since that was also like a new component. Um, and I also just got a sense for how fast things change, because I think when we started, we had Opus 4.5, and then like in February, Opus 4.6 came out, and it just automatically became a like default model. It's like, oh, there's like a new version already available. So it's like things are just moving so quickly. And so it's like it was a good experience, and it was like kind of eye-opening as well, just to see how fast like Anthropic or OpenAI are just like releasing just changes constantly, like every
Yeah,
few months.
it's crazy. When we first started, I was telling you guys that we were behind, and then as we kept going, every week they released something new, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this, guys, look at this, look at this, and I'm just like, let's see how far we're falling behind every week. Obviously, it's a startup, right? And they're gonna put out half-baked features, but as you can see, it's coming. Like once these features are honed in and are tested well and vetted, and the usage makes sense, like it's only going to get more powerful. So by us doing this hackathon, we're able to ride along with that journey. And obviously, we didn't use some of the new things that they came out with, but that is now your job if you want to do that, because there's a lot of stuff that is out there and it's moving so fast. Like you said, Jeremy, like the models coming out. Um, I know Cursor came out a new model too. I think it was like last week, and it's supposed to be better than Sonnet 4.6. And I'm like, I don't have the time and capability to test all these things out. There's just too many things.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Hackathon. So I used Copilot and Claude Code a bit, but adding in there, especially one thing in particular, setting up the mono repo with NX. I had no familiarity with that at all, and I was struggling with it a bit. But adding in the MCP server to Copilot, and then asking questions that way and getting results was really a game changer. There was a big difference before and after, where just the base model is helpful, but adding in the context from the MPC server or MCP server was really helpful. That was a big takeaway for me, was having the right add-ons to what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point, Tony. Like, just going raw without skills, without instructions, like just the raw data. It takes a long time to learn, right? But if you can prepare it and give it some additional context, especially connecting the proper servers and MCP server, to the and attaching it to what you need it for, super powerful. But like but just learning what it is and how to use an MCP server and um, all of that. Like it was awesome to see all of you build these two projects and truly learn from the ground up.
Um, so I guess I want to talk about my experience during the whole hackathon and using AI. Before I kind of dabbled a bit with AI because I took like a free course from like Adobe and like General Assembly. It was like this collab, I guess, trying to use Adobe AI tools with design. But I mainly used AI tools for like ideation and not really, into the workflow. So when I went into this hackathon, I learned more about like trying to incorporate AI tools like Copilot and the Figma MCP server into kind of transferring the designs into code. And I kind of tested it out for a couple hours just to see like test the limits of how good it could be. And of course, I found out you could only do like probably one frame at a time. I tried like two, and it just like looked completely different. And I was like, okay, what is the limit? Now I know. So yeah, learning about that was pretty cool. And all this talk about like AI tools in the designer space got me like very curious to kind of learn more about how I can incorporate it.
That's awesome. Like you and Paris just diving in and like utilizing AI for on the design side and like going in and figuring out what the MCP is as well. It is the future. My company right now, my new company, Zephyr Cloud. Look, I'm wearing this shirt too. um, I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, but we have an integration with Figma, and it's something that a lot of people need is the accuracy, like Bradley is saying. Like it might like to transfer the design to code, it can only do a little bit at a time, right? It's just too much bandwidth and just being able to optimize it correctly. And the other way too, to write into the MCP, to write changes into Figma, I don't believe that exists right now. So just the capabilities and where this is going to go from the design standpoint, where I think many people have been talking about this, is where we are slowly becoming generalists, where we're going to be wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of things. And I always say this is the designers are going to be extremely powerful because you understand what it takes to get good design. And so you're going to be able to push the AI to where you want it. And the tooling as well. As you work with engineers to make the toolings better, it's only going to streamline the process to take a design into code, and being able to do that in a quicker manner is going to save projects and companies time and money. Right. It doesn't have to be about your experience. It could be little things that were positive, like teamwork. Oh, you know, been given 3-4 months instead of 2 weeks. Like, I don't know how y'all could have done it in 2 weeks. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I do feel like this was a really unique like opportunity, because for me, this was my first hackathon that I've ever really been a part of. And it being 3 months was helpful, because that's part of the reason why I never like signed up for hackathon when I was doing development, was because of just like how stressful and like how like quick everything was. And though I'm not gonna act like this was like an easy thing either, because it wasn't. but it definitely allowed for me to like take a step back and understand what I'm actually doing, like test something to see if it works before like bringing it to the actual like scope of what we're building. So it felt like a real project, which was really cool. And I think when you're breaking into tech, or when you're kind of like on the like in the middle of it, like it's a good, it was perfect for where I am right now in my career, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I think I really like the 3 month duration, because I think originally it was supposed to be 1 month, right? And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to like contribute anything? I've never done any of this like kind of like coding assisted building before. But I think the 3 months ended up being really good because, like you said, like maybe most of us, or like the majority of people, had never really built extensively in this kind of way. And it really allowed me to, yeah, understand better like the tools that I was using. And I think if we were to do it again, having developed the muscle memory of like working with these kinds of tools, like I actually think we would be able to do it in like 2 weeks right
I
now.
agree.
But but it took a while to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was like now like it's been the kind of like jumping point for me to go into other hackathons, and that are a lot shorter, like a few hours even, or yeah, a few days. Like I'm just like really confident that I can like think of something, like ideate through it, and then like implement it.
Yeah, those are great points, and this is exactly why I wanted to give you guys more time. I think next time too, I will give you less time. I felt like it was a bit too much, but I definitely don't want to give you a week, or not a week, a month, or 2 weeks. Right, that's just too little, because learning and understanding all of this takes a lot of time and effort. And at the same time, this is not a true hackathon where you're spending 24 hours together, right? And even then, your brain is not going to learn that fast. Like, that's just too much information to jam inside of your brain. And for you to gain that muscle memory to understand all this and all the context, right? It's just too much. Sure, we could have narrowed down the scope of work, but it wasn't meant for that. It was meant for you to learn many technologies, many things with AI. And yeah, I agree with Curling. Is that if you were to do this again, if I gave you 2 weeks, you could probably whip up like two projects at the same time. Like, y'all are that far now. Um, but the whole point of this was for you to learn, right? To given that time to learn. And when it came down, you were supposed to have 3 months, but when it came down to it, I can tell that both teams were kind of stressing about getting it done. And I said, don't worry about it. I'll give you another month, because the whole point of this hackathon is not to stress about it and finish it, is to learn from the whole process, and then carry that forward so that you can utilize it, for whatever is next. Um, but Monica is a little bit behind, so she mentioned that she really liked how the team meetings to collaborate with developers for design influence and developer strategies worked out. It was really great to learn and adapt from one another. Um, I would agree with that. Anybody want to speak on that?
Well, I was gonna say, I think if anybody else wants to talk, please let me know. I don't want to take up too much. I was gonna say, this was again really unique because as a designer, when you're kind of working on with like small teams in the freelance world or in the startup world, you don't get a chance to work with like five or more engineers at once, which was incredible. and like bouncing ideas off of engineers, and also just hearing how they talk about AI, just because I feel like there's more of an understanding of like what's going on in the back end, was really eye-opening for me. And it made me want to dive into like data and understand how things work better, which I think is often feels kind of inaccessible in the design world. But this definitely helped a lot. And it's like even in my own personal projects, I feel like I'm diving more into back end stuff, which I never thought I would do.
That's great to hear. Every company I go to, when I work with designers, they're surprised that I want to work with them, because a lot of developers, like, not that they don't want to, but it's a lot of time and effort to bounce ideas off each other and stuff like that. But the realization is it's needed, because as you're coming up with ideas and stuff, and if you hand it to me and I'm like, why did you do it this way? Like, we have another way to do this, or what is your thought process behind this design? Because I want to understand it, know it, and by doing it beforehand, before it's finalized and signed off, you can make those changes together, right? And you can build it together, opposed to here you go, and then I'm like, I'm supposed to build this. Like, this is like completely different from what we have, and or like, hey, Paris, like, we have this library that you could have used. It could have saved you 20 hours of work, but it looks different. So you can match the designs and then spend those 20 hours doing something else. Those trade-offs go a long way. And I would encourage you guys to do that too, wherever you go for your companies, is to work together, because um, by pre-planning everything and collaborating ahead of time, you're gonna have better results in the end, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like what was cool that I feel like I couldn't do before when working with a designer was like how one, like, using AI tools can kind of help you communicate better with a designer, and then like two, how fast you can like iterate on ideas. So the first one, like, for part of the project, I had this like idea of what I kind of wanted, like, the during phase part of the project to work. And so I just went on B0 and I just described it, and then I shared it with Paris. And yeah, I shared it with Paris, and then we, like, I was kind of like, hey, like, this is the what I had in mind. Like, take it, and like, you guys just go forth and design whatever you guys want, because I trust you guys. But at least I was able to communicate, like, this is kind of what I was envisioning. I wouldn't been able to do that just by like talking. And then the other part would be that we could kind of just throw ideas, and then we can just build it really fast in the UI. And then if we didn't like it, we could just quickly change it. And it was really easy to do that with AI. Like, how fast we were able to build some of this stuff, I was like, this would have taken me like days, like weeks, but I was able to just go through it in like hours. And if it was like, oh, actually it's supposed to be like this, I was like, great, we can just change it like right now. And I think everyone felt super confident in like the timeline of how fast we were able to do some of this stuff. Like, I was not afraid of, like, they came to us with an idea and we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then that's pretty much how I think our team kind of ran. It was like, oh, you had an idea? All right, let's do it. And then we just kind of pushed it to the limit. And I think what came out of it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just being able to build and iterate quickly. That's the game now. Is just doing things faster, right? Like I was saying you guys about the story when I went to Miami with Zephyr Cloud, we reduced a build of a PLC from 14 months down to like 2 or 3 months. And it's going to continue to come down as the team progresses and learns how to utilize the workflow easier and better, right? As things get more accurate, like building a full-fledged POC website could take a week or two, and it could take only 1 or 2 people to get to that point. And that's crazy to me, because when you're doing it on the job, it does take about 14 months because of planning, approvals, iterations, yada yada yada, right? But if you can get something out there and then people can look at it and touch it and feel it and like make the iterations from there, it is extremely powerful because it's a lot. It's like live. It's alive and you can touch it, you can feel it, and that is the benefit. Because leadership, they don't see these things, they can't visualize them. They just see numbers and letters and like, oh, costs and time and stuff, and like just give me something to see. And it's like, oh, I can't do that. I don't have the time to do it. But by being able to do that, that's extremely powerful.
I also just want to kind of amplify the point of reducing friction between engineering and design teams again, like exactly what Jen said. This is kind of it's like a whole new landscape because I'm not scared I'm gonna make the engineers mad or anything with an idea if I show it to them. And they can also, like Jen said, like show you what they're thinking and what an idea of what they wanted to build that you can just kind of design from as well very quickly. It's just, I think reducing that friction is so important because it allows for very smooth teamwork in a fast-paced environment. I feel like tech is always a bit fast-paced, and this is where the building actually happens. So that's kind of this like sacred little teamwork that needs to be effortless, which I think it's starting to be.
All right. Any other positives?
Well, for me, working with developers was also really eye-opening for me as well. Before I was pretty hesitant to go into the hackathon because I was just like I was just like I don't know, I don't know if I could do it. But you know, I muster up the courage. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go through with it. And then I ended up learning a lot more than I thought I would. Learning, teaming up with Monica, Hector, Jeremy, Tony, just hearing all their thoughts and how we could build this thing. I was like, oh wow, never thought of that. And just learning what they can do and what I can do for them. And we're all just having meetings, adapting, all that. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just very grateful that, you know, like I've been missing out, to be honest. Yeah, so I definitely feel a lot more closer,
Nice.
career-wise. Yeah.
So what about you guys from the engineering side and working with designers? I know some of you, it might have been your first time working alongside of them. Oh, engineers, they never want to talk.
I wasn't
Oh, okay.
like I wasn't really part of the front end team. I mostly worked on the AI agent part, so I didn't really get that much. I didn't really get to work that much with the designers, but I got to see what was going on, and it was interesting to think about how they wanted the design to be and the features they wanted, and it was an interesting challenge to try and find ways for the agent to be able to come up with the solutions, like find the right tools in order to build the product that we all wanted together. And it was really interesting learning about AI agents for the first time, like not just AI in general. Like I learned about the while loop that's really important to agents that like allows them to iterate and call tools and things like that. And from going just to using Chat GPT to building an agent in like just a few weeks and months. It was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, both teams, like just being able to create agents, orchestrators, the workflow, and all of that was really cool. Now, tell me this, okay? Because I can tell that many of you are trying very, very hard to build this by hand, and I was like, stop doing that. Like, just go full in and just use AI. Like, how was that transition?
I also started by hand. Like I made the first agent I tested out by
I
hand
know.
by following tutorials. But yeah, after like I feel like that was still important because now I got the basic understanding of how it all works, and I
Hmm.
then knew what to ask Claude whenever I prompted it for a change or anything. So I just didn't ask it to do something that the agent was completely incapable of doing.
Hmm.
I had probably challenges at the beginning trying to use AI to help scaffold the project, especially the micro front ends part.
Oh yeah.
And once, maybe it's like a little bit more obscure or something, but once we got that set up, then using something more akin to vibe coding was really helpful. But that first part, there was still a lot of like trying to get the settings just right to get everything working.
Hmm.
So it was definitely a progression, uh, but yeah, it was much more so than I had done in the past, especially towards the end of the project. Just saying, hey, we need this feature, make the
Yeah.
code, and pop it in, and that's it.
Yeah, I was gonna comment, just going back to your last question, Shashi, about working with designers.
Hmm.
Monica and Bradley like did a lot of really good work, and they pumped out like so many like options like for the logos and components. And it was really nice to be able to, because like when I'm working by myself and I'm just building a personal project, it's like hard to think about that at the same time. And so having them put a lot of that on Canvas and Figma was really nice, and they're both like also very receptive to feedback, and so it felt very collaborative as well. So I really enjoyed that process.
That's great. Yeah, working cross-functionally, as Jennifer knows, and Hector, I think, was part of the Grand Survivor, and Tony too. I'm a big fan of that, of learning how to work across departments, because it not only makes your lives easier, but you start to understand the other side and how they think and how they're trying to come up with things, and then it allows you to also educate them on certain things, right? Everywhere I've gone when I've done that, the collaboration has been so much better and so much easier. It's not like, here, take take this, or like, what did you do with my design? It doesn't even look like what I gave to you. Um, those things happen all the time, even the big companies. Like it still happens. So being an advocate of that and saying no, like I can't do that. I need to make sure that it's okay with my developer or my designer. Let's work together and figure this out, because the outcome is going to be so much better for everyone. Any other positives from the hackathon? Could be little, could be big, it could be non-tech related.
Well, I guess I'll just say what I got out of it for positive. And I'm sure people share the same thing. It was like just getting more comfortable with like using AI. It was my first time like vibe coding an entire app, and actually just completely trusting the output for the most part. Like I don't even think I really checked what I kind of checked like the output, but not really like how I did it, which is like not something I would do at work. I'm a little more careful there, but like I think even now I'm getting a little more comfortable at work with like, okay, like I trust that the output of this model is going to be pretty good. And actually, I think it's just getting better. So I think that's one of the big takeaways, like just comfortable using it, like kind of pushing it to its limits. I think we did a pretty good job of that. Just kind of seeing like how far we can push it for sort of like outputting, poor like or weird features. I think the surprising thing was, I mean, not surprising, was how quickly we just blew through all these tokens. Especially for like Google Places API, like we had the free credits and we blew through that so fast, and I was like, oh crap! And then didn't really think about that, and also when Colleen set up the Playwright MCP, which was great, but it just ate up so much of the tokens when I was using it, and when you're just vibe coding, you're just constantly just like prompting it over and over again. So I think like just kind of realizing like there's a limitation to these things, and just like, okay, maybe it's actually better if I just stopped it and just kind of like, it might even be faster if I just did it myself. And there were times where like I would kind of just go in and be like, okay, like, is it worth these tokens and the amount of prompts for like a line that might take me like less than 10 minutes to do myself? So there were times where like I would intervene. But yeah, I think overall I'm actually just like really impressed with how well it does, how fast it does it, how far I could take it. Like, and I think it's better because it's like a new application. You're not like bogged down by like legacy code or like old code it's trying to like reference if it's looking at the code base. It's just like all pure like new build. So I think it did very well at that. Like I was like kind of impressed that like how like what I prompted, like how well it was able to like create those features. So yeah, overall it was really fun. I think it helped me day down and be like more comfortable using it. And like kind of keep pushing it to the limits to see like how far I can kind of like get it to go and more comfortable using it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with you because at Microsoft when I was there, we had unlimited tokens. And when I went to Miami with Zephyr Cloud, they were talking about tokens. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, cost what? I don't know. Until I built my own personal project, and I was like, oh crap! Like, this stuff is expensive, and you have to like really tell it properly what to do, or you're gonna keep doing it. Like, I would do the one where it's like, oh hey, go change that word from to there. And I'm like, wait, why would I do that? It just cost me a couple tokens to do that. I could just do it myself. When I got so lazy, I'm like, nah, just do it. And then it's like, oh dang, I'm wasting all my tokens, right? So yes, that context and understanding that these things aren't free and it costs a ton of money if you prompt it over and over again. um, and just from your standpoint too, right, the different models too, and what they can do well and what they can't do, and how often you have to ask it to redo something. Like, do you is it just worth it to go with the expensive model at that point, or do you go with the cheaper model, but you have to give it a lot of context to get to where you want it to? So that's also something that I learned uh, during this hackathon too, just talking to everybody, and understanding that, yeah, like as many tokens as we can get, it goes, you can burn through them super fast.
Yeah, I think, yeah, managing, like thinking about the token use in context, this project got me to really think more about how to not only save tokens, but to try to prevent like unnecessary iteration
Yeah.
and like Claude not fully understanding what I want it to do. And I hadn't, and I think it took me a few weeks to realize like, oh, I should be using plan mode all the time,
Hmm.
and making sure that like if like giving Claude to ask me clarifying questions before it actually does what I tell it to do to prevent that like annoying like trying to revert those unwanted changes down the line. And I also wanted to mention I enjoyed the sprint demos, like having the chance to prepare something and present it and see what other people are working on was a really great opportunity.
I like those too, but you two were you both teams are too secretive. That- yeah, y'all don't want to share any secrets or anything. That's fine. Like sharing things you're learning and stuff like that's cool. And seeing the final outcome was awesome as well. But yes, I love those demos and giving y'all an opportunity to work on your presentation skills and whatnot has been great. And I hope those have helped you guys too, the ones that were able to present. And just know this, I did give you way more time than you were allocated for those sprint demos. Um, but in the end, I think they turned out fantastic. So thanks for that call out. All right, let's move on to things that could improve or can improve. What are some things that can improve? When we talk about these things, again, you don't want to finger point at anybody. You just want to make it general, and also just be mindful of your comments. I know none of these projects and things go perfectly, but it's an opportunity for us to learn and improve on these.
Um, oh, sorry, Hector, did you want to say something? Oh, okay. Um, yeah, so I wanted to mention, going from the context thing again, I think it took us, I think we could have started sharing context earlier or much earlier in the project because, as we were starting to use these tools and like learning how they worked, I think the thinking of context management across teammates was kind of something that came later because we're all using, like most of us were using Cloud Code, and it's like really it shares the same structure, like the loop is the same, so we could have really taken advantage of of not only sharing Claude.md files like the main one, but also having them nested within like deeper directories for you know uh, directory specific guidance for Claude to pick up on instead of having to remind it certain things, and making more of an emphasis on keeping those docs up to date for both the team and Claude. Um, and there are a lot of things I didn't know about until later or even after the fact. Like I didn't know that I didn't know that you could have Claude files that you can share with the team and also have your own like cloud.local.md like that you don't share and is specific to you. And I didn't realize there was like different hierarchies like that. So that could have been really useful. So I was afraid of touching the Claude file because I was like, oh well, the other teammates are going to be using it, but it's like no, that's helpful for all the Claudes. So yeah, looking back, I would do next time I would do a lot better job of maintaining like up to date context and yeah, managing like what's for the team and what's for me and how I like to work with Claude.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that always comes with the learning, right? Like, unless if somebody comes in and already has that knowledge, it is really hard to have a solid foundation right away. All right. Any other things that could have been better, could improve?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot from this hackathon. This is my first time on such a big team with like the use of AI. So we're going so fast now, and I think like this is something I think we're all gonna, as an industry, are gonna learn to do is like how to work better as a team when we're all going like 200 miles per hour, right? Like We want to make sure that we're not limiting others that are going like 500 miles per hour, and how can we delegate the tasks the right way without like merge conflicts or even just like stepping on each other's toes. So a lot of learning opportunities like to reflect on, but yeah, it was a great experience.
That's great, Thomas. Yeah, that's a great point. Is when you have a team and we have AI, you can go so fast. But yet again, this is a hackathon too, and it's like we don't want to create tickets for everything, but maybe for the main features, right? And but then like it's some people have availability, some people don't at certain times, and the balance is difficult. And I give you guys that balance because like it's not a true hackathon where it's like, hey, you're gonna spend 8 hours a day on this all the time. No, it's more like, hey, y'all figure it out. You figure out your own schedules and figure out the tasks, everything. And that's one part of it too, is just finding that balance of who's gonna do what and who has time for what. um for something that this is this long, it is grueling because I can see at the beginning, you're fired up, you're going, you're learning, and then in the middle you're like, oh man, like holidays are coming, and as well as like what do we do now, and then towards the end then it's like you're ramped up again, you're like, I want to finish this, and then we're gonna jam this in and try to finish everything up and do all these things. So it's a tough balancing act for sure. All right, more things.
I'd say time management was also kind of like kind of difficult for me as
Hmm.
well, because early on I was like designing. I was still learning stuff about Figma, so I was just like, but I was focusing on like certain components way too much, like more than I thought I would. And then I was like, oh snap, I'm kind of wasting time. So I kind of had to like speed through it. And then when it came to that transition phase where I had to like kind of like show my design or like give off the design file to like the devs, there was this period where like I didn't really have any work. I mean, I did a couple stuff with like Figma MCP and kind of give them some code, but otherwise I was like, man, I feel like I should be working on something right now, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't really do anything at this time. So
Yeah, I mean
I think I could have, yeah.
that's a good point too. Is that's a part of the Gridiron Survivor core is time management and time boxing yourself, and also like when you have more time, is figuring out, hey, what can I do next, right? What's a task that I can actually do to help you guys out? I could do some research, I could do some other things, and that is a key to team collaboration, and that's where like if this was a true project, then it would be like a lot like a sprint planning. And then once you're done with your tickets, then we had to grab some from the next sprint, or you could take some that others have not done yet that you can take on, right? That's not dev related. So you're able to then help them out and finish the project faster or that sprint, right? So um I know this is true to the whole entire hackathon. We had 4 teams at the beginning, and a lot of people dropped out either because of time commitment or something else, or they got a job or something. And it was I knew this was coming because this happened last year too. So once I figured out like, okay, like we're dropping like flies here, I got to do something. We got to adapt because I don't want to leave anybody dry. I said, you know what? I wanted 4 teams, which would have been fantastic, right? 4 apps at the end would have been awesome, but dwindling down to 2 teams made sense because um as number one, you're learning to work with AI. Number two, you're balancing between tokens and AI models. Number three, you're figuring out Zephyr Cloud, how to integrate with that. Number four, you're learning micro front ends, and number 5, like most of you are using mono repos with NX or turbo repo, and there's so much to learn there. Like these are all big things. They're not like, oh, just go learn this library or this little tool, right? It was more than that. I mean, I'm not even talking about MCP servers, not even talking about like agent skills and workflows and how do you create all these things with orchestrators. There was just so much. So it made sense to just say, let's cut it down. Let's just make the teams big, and then y'all figure out who can do what. Because there are going to be people that have time, and there's going to be people that don't have time. Um, at the beginning, yeah, we had a good number, and I thought that if anything, we would go down to 3 teams. But as soon as we went down to a certain number, I talked to a few people I knew, and I said, "Should we do that?" And they were like, "Yeah, it probably makes sense to cut the teams down to 2. That way, there's more than enough people to help out." Because I don't know about y'all, but I think that really helped is just focusing on 2 projects instead of 3 or 4, and having us like I think the teams were 4 or 5 people, and then as we came down to it, the 2 teams became teams of 7 each or so. Um, and I think that really helped to balance that out because then it was like, okay, let's delegate the work. You figure out micro front ends, you figure out AI agents, you figure out the MCP server, you figure out how to, utilize Figma. And having 2 designers on each team felt like it was a good combination because then they both could help each other learn this stuff. Because like what Bradley and Parents are saying, like it's all brand new stuff to them too, and to be able to bounce ideas off each other. But the funny thing is, y'all didn't know this. All 4 designers were in a, a private chat, and I told them they can collaborate together to learn from one another. They didn't. They were too loyal to their teams, so they didn't share any secrets. So I don't know if they did on the side, but they didn't use that channel at all. But they were able to do that because I knew like they were coming in fresh. All 4 of them were new to AI, and I really wanted them to grow together. And but they utilized their partners to do that. So yeah, I think that's something that I wish that we could have had the 4 separate teams too to battle it out at the end, but it was made a lot more sense because of the time commitment and the scope of work and knowledge that y'all had to figure out. It was too great. So being able to do that, maybe next time we just stick to the 3 teams max or something. Any other if things that could have gone better?
Yeah, I guess I'll just following up on your comments there. I think we struggled a bit on just getting the micro front end with Zephyr hooked up, like just having that architecture. I think Tony ended up
Yeah.
doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and I was trying to help where we could. But that took a bit of time for us to kind of figure out. And I think that's what kind of put Bradley in a holding pattern a little bit as well. And so we had times when like Bradley and Monica wanted to help, but we didn't have anything in particular they could really help with. And so it's like we just had to try and get like our sort of baseline app up and running. And that took, that was kind of a big lift for us.
Yeah, I think the one thing for you guys was the other team had Thomas. And Thomas is a seasoned engineer. The individuals that I wanted to have help lead your team, they got busy. And that's why I don't. You guys probably didn't realize this, but that's why I stepped in to help you guys more when and where I could. And also, if you know my style, I'm not going to give you answers like all the answers, but there are certain times where, like that one session we had, where it's like, here, you guys, look at my micro front end setup. Okay, this is what I do. That's the only time I was like truly like, here, let me help you guys out because this is really going to set you up because this is so much new technology that you're gonna take forever to learn this stuff. So let me show you what I did for my project, and this will kickstart you guys off. And I hope that helped you guys, because that was one thing too, where Team Gumshoes was operating kind of leaderless. A couple people try to step up in here and there, but then they dropped out. So it was really hard. So that's why I kept chiming in, like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" To kind of push you guys to get to that point. Whereas the other side, they had Thomas and Jennifer. Like, they had a few people that are in the industry already, and they had experience, and so that really helped. Like, I barely checked in on them. Like, I was watching their chats and stuff, and I was like, okay, they're doing fine. I would check in on them here and there, see how things are going, but being able to push you guys, I hope that really helped you guys too, to get going and to just kind of go to the finish line. So yeah, that was the whole plan with the four teams, is to have one leader, one clear leader that had experience in each team. But as they were dropping as flies, I said, man, this is, I don't know what's going to happen. So I said, well, I just have to do what I can to help you guys out. Um, and so that's why, like the other team, like, they can tell you, I didn't give them anything. I just checked in on them. Like, it was just, how you doing? What are you guys doing? That's it. But you guys, I was like, okay, what are you doing, Hector? Like, okay, let's look into this. Okay, Tony, like, okay, let's go into Zephyr's Discord and ask them these questions. Like, get those answers from them directly. I wouldn't have told the other team to do that. I did. Yeah, as you can tell, they weren't in there. They just figured it out themselves. But we were able to get like direct answers from the core team. So being able to direct you guys like that, I think that was something that I wasn't hoping, I wasn't trying to do, but I didn't want you guys to fall behind either. All right, let's move on to things that you want to carry forward, things that you've learned and you want to continue to do, or that's something that you didn't get a chance to do, and you want to move forward with it.
I mean, I feel like the simple answer for me is like what I was talking about a little bit before the stream, just kind of experimenting more and more with how to implement AI into every part of my workflow, and kind of optimize the parts that I tend to have a little bit of trouble with, not because I can't do it, but because it's tedious, or kind of like filling in the gaps of where I generally struggle, like with memory or like deadlines sometimes. So kind of working with AI to help improve those parts of my workflow. And then on the design side, I think there's just like an infinite amount of things you can do.
Yeah.
So it's really about what's just staying updated every single day. I can't say I have like a specific goal in mind, because there's like no way of knowing what we'll be doing in the next week.
Do you know what came out of the hackathon for you? One thing that I saw was you went on a podcast to talk about it.
Right.
Continue to do that. I think that you do a great job sharing what you're learning, what you're doing. And if you want to like speak at conferences too about this stuff, because to be honest, not a lot of designers are working with AI as much, right? And integrating with it as much. And to be an advocate to say, hey, like, it's not that it's going to take away our skills, but to use it as part of our day to day. This is the power of what it can do. right? So
Yeah.
this is a plug. You can come to Commit Your Code and do a talk at in Dallas for the Commit Your Code conference.
Oh, that sounds so cool. I mean, actually also I do have one plug specifically that I wanted to say is if you're a designer and you're looking to learn more about AI and design, I'm hosting with two other designers some AI in design workshops coming up.
Oh,
So if anyone's interested,
that's very cool.
I'm getting very
Please share
excited
those.
to like say yes to a lot of these things, even though I don't know, it's scary. There's so much to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you have the imposter syndrome, right? Or it's like, am I that? Why are you asking me? Like I'm not that good, but they see something in you, and you do a great job articulating and sharing what you're doing and learning. So yeah, let us know. Share those links out. We'll help pass the word on as well.
Thank you. And I want to hear more about what you mentioned too.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said I'm excited to hear more about what you had mentioned as well.
Oh, about the conference.
Mm.
Oh yeah. So Danny Thompson runs the Commit Your Code conference in Dallas. It's coming up in September, and many of us are going to be there. And from our Discord too. Let's get technical. Last year we had about what Thomas said. Wait, is Thomas still here? Still? No, he dropped. Jennifer, you were there, right? About 15 to 20 people maybe from the Discord that was there. So yeah, it was just really fun to meet everybody in person, to hang out, to go to talks together, to support each other, yada yada yada. It was an amazing time, and also that conference itself, it's very community based. Danny does a great job to create events outside the conference where you can go to the food trucks, where you can go throw football at bowling pins, like just certain things. But pickleball too, right? Like there's things that he tries to create to get you outside of the technical world and just like, hey, let's just talk, let's just hang out, let's just enjoy our time. So for anybody that wants to go, like I think it's a great conference to go to, even if it's your first tech conference. It's a great one to go to, and I don't know if there's many designers that are talking about AI. So if you're interested, let me know and I can talk to Danny.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I also want to see everybody. I love that.
Yeah,
I want to buy you all coffee or something.
you can buy me tacos.
Okay,
That was-
it's a pleasure.
no, it's yeah, it's a great time. Like I was supposed to speak last year, but Danny had too many speakers, so I said just take me off. And I enjoyed the conference so much more because I could just hang out and just have fun and just enjoy the time, and go to some great talks and not have to stress about my talk as much. But if you really want to talk at a conference, this is a good one to do it. He chooses a lot of first time speakers, gives them this opportunity to speak in front of an audience. It's casual, and we'll all be there. Like you'll have like 20 people in the audience just cheering you on. So awesome. Anything else, guys? Anything that you want to continue to do? Want to move forward with, or something you haven't done and you want, like, I really want to look into that.
I mean, I feel there's so much to look into. There's like always something new. Yeah, I feel like for me personally, it's just kind of learning to be like more efficient with like using AI and kind of yeah. I was telling my coworker about this that like before I knew it, like I like barely write any of the code. Most of the implementations handled by the AI. Now it's just figuring
Mhm.
out like how to be more efficient with it. And I think like our converse, like my point earlier about like recognizing like those inefficiencies, like reducing the amount of like back and forth, like the context files, like Colleen mentioned, like and Thomas's like that pain point with like some people are going like 500, some people are going like 100, and it was really
Mhm.
hard to balance that. And I actually think the solution might have been like those context files, right? Because you can add those context files and you can have the AI explain to you like what has happened at this point in time in the code,
Yeah.
and you can be caught up like instantly, right? Like you don't even have to bother reading it. The AI can answer that for you. So that I think like utilizing more, like just share context, like adding that in, like what kind of things you need to add into your code base. Because like at this point you can just ask the AI, but you just have to have that information in there. So things like that, and just like I think for me right now, I'm like, how would I? And I think I'm pretty sure other people have done this. From like podcast advice, just how can I have an AI agent running like all the time, right? Like how can I hand things off? How can I wake up in the morning and I can just like, okay, go, and then just be ready, and like things like that. So that's kind of what I've been looking at, like just being more efficient with it. Because now I trust the implementation. So now it's like, okay, like how can I use it better, knowing that I trust that the output is actually pretty good, and then making sure that it's doing the thing it's supposed to do. So like tests. I don't know, just like exploring how other people use it. I think everyone kind of
Yeah.
has different ideas and they're like trying it out. So like kind of seeing how other people are utilizing it, and what I mean, I don't even really know if there's a standard yet. We're all just kind of like experimenting, and then the standard changes all the time. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the AI.
Yeah, it's moving so fast, like we were talking about earlier, right? Like, what can we do to help what we are our current day to day or our current workflow as much as possible? Because in a year, I don't know where we're gonna be. Like, this is exactly why I did this hackathon. Is when I came back from Miami and the AI Accelerator with Zephyr Cloud, I said, we're in deep trouble. Like, I saw the future, and we got to get going. And that's why I pivoted to this real quick. And I said, this hackathon is going to be about AI workflows and integration, because now you guys are um, a leg up, on the competition. And not just that, but just understanding of AI. Like, it's already like 2 steps ahead of us. Like, we're already behind already again. But you're not so far behind this time, right? Like, you already have some knowledge of it and some awareness of it and experience playing around and utilizing it. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest hurdle. Like many of you have alluded to, it was so scary to do something new and to learn AI. You can see all of its like moving pieces and all of its advancements, but how do you start with it? How do you integrate it? What do you do with it? And now you have that answer, right? Like, you've been able to touch it, feel it, build a project with it, work together on it, and all of that. And I hope you carry that forward for sure. Any other things that you want to continue to do?
I want to continue to get better at working, working with these AI agent, like coding assistants within a team, because it's a very different dynamic, like working on it, like by coding something by yourself and thinking about teammates and like I said before, like sharing context, like deciding how to hand off things. Um, yeah, just like what the best, for example, if there's a greenfield project, like what's the best way to get to some kind of baseline where everybody can start working off of it, like simultaneously, instead of being blocked, and having a lot of dead time from like your teammates before they can actually jump in. So I think there's a lot more to learn in making that process smoother in a team.
Nice. Monica's having audio issues, so she said that she came into the hackathon with 0 developer experience. And so Bradley did more of the heavy lifting for the Figma MCP stuff, and she wants to jump into that and learn more about Figma MCP. And Amen, you made a great comment too. You want to speak about what you wrote about the hackathon?
Yeah. So before this hackathon, I was not easily convinced with the using AI, and I was using AI just to, do simple tasks. Like I would just go to ChatGPT and I would just write, is this sentence correct? Or can you help me write, simple things. Not, I guess I was not using AI to its full potential. So after learning about this hackathon and about AI, what are their capabilities? So I learned about AI agents, models, and then MCP servers, microfronts, and all those things. So now I have started using Claude in my workflow. So and then so now currently I'm creating a design system. So now I'm using Claude as my agent. So I'm just feeding all my, so I'm giving instructions to it that I want to do these things. So it's just helping me, do the manual loading to Figma. So I'm not doing those things. It's doing it for me. And then also I'm using Claude to write React code. I'm not good with React, but I know basic HTML and CSS. So I'm just, using the whole AI to, create a design system that I have been trying to build from like last 2 or 3 years. So I'm just gonna use that AI to do it.
That's awesome, man. I think that's the power of AI development now is someone like you that has just basic coding skills can bring in a agent skill for React, and then you build your tool, and then you continue to teach it and learn it, and then say, hey, like build this for me, right? And it gets working, and it's fully functional. Um, and within like a day, right? Like it's pretty fast. It does it really quick. That's awesome. I think that is the future, is being able to specialize in something, but then use AI to cover the rest of the gaps that you might have. Or like if you're a company, right? Like you're running your own company, you can have your marketing agent. Yeah, like I've seen this one guy like have like 30 agents right at the same time running his company, and it's just him. And I'm just like, that is what I would do if I was running a company. That would save me so much time and effort, and then so much headache. And it just runs 24/7, like Jennifer said. Like the agent just creates tasks, does it. Another one code reviews it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just goes through, it iterates over and over and over again until it gets it correct. Then it outputs all its features, and like people are building full-fledged companies
Yeah.
with these workflows, and they're making millions and millions. And it's just astonishing to see how fast this is moving.
It is. I'm just amused by the way that it creates the components for me. Because if I manually start creating those components, it would take me like at least an hour to fix it, like all the properties in Figma. But then I just give it as instructions that I want these properties for this components, and it's like within like a couple of minutes it's there. You just have to
Wow.
like just see it whether it's as accurate as you want it to be. If it is, then you just go ahead with the next component. So it's just working
Yeah,
out great for me. So, yeah.
that's awesome. Awesome. Any last words from anybody about the hackathon?
I think the last thing I'm gonna say is I really am. I mean, I guess it depends on like how how this ends up, like which. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm like having such a hard time getting my.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
I think depending on how our team feels, I definitely have an urge to test out, do some usability testing and like test some of the features for this product with people. Like I had some friends already go through it a couple of times towards the end of the hackathon, but I'm really eager to kind of like perfect certain things. So that's something that I've been wanting to work on, but it kind of, again, it depends on how the team feels about it and everything like that.
Awesome. Well, you guys have shared some great things about the hackathon and things that can work better or improve, as well as things that you can carry forward. My hope has always been that each and every one of you gains just like at minimum a little bit of learning, and I think that that was accomplished because talking and hearing y'all speak about what you the experience you went through with this hackathon. I think you guys are all winners because of that, because now you have that extra step into learning about the agentic world, right? There's so much to learn and so much to do with it. There's so much more to come, and this is only the beginning, right? Like it's been around for a year, well, 2 3 years, but it's like it's just going 1,000 miles an hour right now. It's changing the world, with the layoffs that are happening across the world and these big companies. It's not going to slow down. I've seen like just other companies laying off people, and it's still happening. Some of the biggest companies are already scheduled to lay off. I just talked to my neighbor. He said that he works for Meta. He says Meta is laying off 20% of their people or something like that, and it's mainly the metaverse. Um, I'm I'm pretty confident Microsoft's gonna have some layoffs too, and all that, right? Like there's just endless companies that are so massive. You're like, how and why? But because of AI, they can see that this is going to create some efficiencies for them. But I think the miss is that you can still have people. Like people can do more. Just because you have less doesn't mean you're going to do more. You can have less and you're going to still be at the same velocity because AI is going to do just about as much as you had when you had before. But if we have more people, and more individuals that understand how to utilize AI, you can actually do a whole lot more with it, right? The individuals I talked to in Miami when we were there, they were scared. They were like, "Why are we building this? This is gonna get rid of my job." And it was tough. It was like, you are right, because leadership, that's all they see is AI replacing people, opposed to AI replacing the deficiencies and the day to days that we do every single day that takes up our time. That frees us up to go do other work that we haven't even touched or that we want to do, right? Like I think that's something that it's probably gonna come up later in a year or two. It's like, hey, wait, why are we like not doing as much as we thought we would? We have less people, we have AI, but yeah, AI is messing up, or like there's just not enough people to maintain it or push us forward or come up with fresh ideas. Um, and then there's going to be a spur hiring again, where it's like, okay, we need actually people to come in and help us get us further and get us going. Um, but it's just interesting to see the world changing, the industry changing. But I think that you guys are far better off with this hackathon and experiencing working together and learning together and building these two agentic apps along the way. And so I'm extremely grateful to have this opportunity to have created this hackathon for you guys. It was a wild success, even from our sponsors. Like they watch the streams here and there too, and they're extremely happy about the progress that y'all have made. So without further ado, we are sponsored by Zephyr Cloud, which is a company that I work at now. I just started 2 days ago. So pretty funny. But yes, Zephyr has graciously given us $1,000 in cash prizes for the first and second place. Front end Mentor has given us pro subscriptions to all the winning individuals. And our sponsor for Grand Survivor as well, Kit Kraken, is going to be sending out some swag for the winners. And so that, and we just want to thank our sponsors for that, because all that we do, like again, like without these prizes, you guys have won because the knowledge of learning AI and integrating with it. But I always want to present some prizes because I'm very competitive, and it's for y'all to fight for something. It's just a competitive spirit inside anyone, right? Like it's like, hey, we're doing something for something. It's not, oh, it's just for fun. Like here's a pat in the back. Like no, like we're legit stuff. So I'm happy that Zephyr stepped up and said, hey, yeah, we'll give you $1,000. I was like, okay, like that just for us, yeah, just for you guys. So the winning team will receive $700, and second place will receive $300. The winning team will receive the pro memberships for front end mentor, and the Get Kraken swag. So second place is leaving with a prize still, which is $300 split between the team members. So we had I have to say their full names. Bill Watson, the directing engineer from Zephyr Cloud. He's one of the judges. We had Ryan Furrier. I'm going to say that on live. Furrier. He was a Gridiron Survivor alum, and also Chris Nowicki, Gridiron Survivor alum as well. They both are in the industry now. Ryan's been working for almost a year, but Chris has been in the industry now for like almost 2-3 years. So he's a great success story because he came from the Gridiron Survivor apprenticeship program. And then lastly, we have, what's Nick's last name? I forgot. Do you know, Jen? Shoot. Nick. Hold on, I want to get this right. Nick Taylor. Gosh, Nick. It's so easy. I just forgot that Nick's last name. Nick Taylor was the other judge that looked at both projects. We had criterias for individuals to follow. They had to build an agentic travel app, but also integrate with Zephyr Cloud. Also build 3 micro front ends. The judges looked at aesthetics, they looked at code, they looked at integration, they looked at agentic tools, and all of that in combination, we came up with a score. Each category had a score, and the winner for this hackathon, and still the champs, is the champions, the team champs. So congratulations. Where's my clapper? But in second place, Team Gumshoes, y'all did a fantastic job as well. You're not leaving empty-handed. So I will be contacting both teams to figure out how to distribute all of this stuff. But again, I'm super proud of all of you guys for doing this and riding along with me. Again, I said we had like, I don't know, maybe 30 people at the beginning, and we came down to 15 or so. So it was expected the people would drop and all that stuff, but I wanted to give you guys the time to learn and grow with this. And I know right after this, my plan is to kick off Gridiron Survivor again. And most of you have already said you want to join and go on the journey with us. So the next phase of Gridiron Survivor is we're going to build some agentic tools, and we're going to be going into learning how to build some features and applications with Atlassian Forge. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use AI to do that. So it's going to be really fun. So really fun and cool and exciting. It's a market that is not being tapped right now. So, and we have a great advocate, Danny Thompson, to help, not help, but as a resource to kind of understand what it is. So I'm super excited about that piece. But again, like, thank you for just going along with this whole hackathon with me. It's been almost 4 months. Even waiting for the results, like a lot of the judges were busy, and I really wanted to get this going. But again, it gave them some grace and some time to figure this stuff out. So yeah, like enjoy every piece of this. Like it was great to hear everyone speak about their learnings, the sprint demos, um, where you guys are taking this, and especially like how at the beginning you were like, I don't know if I want to do this, or I don't know what to do with this, and then now you're like, I want to push this even further. Like my eyes have opened up, and this opportunity has given me that, and that's all I ask for is. Um, to be given that opportunity for y'all to learn and grow with this, because the wild success that we've had with Grand Survivor and these alums getting jobs and turning their careers around and all of that stuff, like I want to see that for you guys as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and continue to watch our streams. We will be kicking off Grand Survivor soon here, probably in a week or two here, but we will see you in the next one. Thank you.